Welcome to PPR podcast number 68, brought to you by Renovation Realty. My name is Paul. This guy's name is Bert, and in the middle, in the middle seat, former Helix star, Arizona star, and West Virginia Mountaineer, Mr. Scottie Young. Scottie, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. How are you doing today?
It's a long time no chat. I think the last time I saw you was aboard the USS Midway Museum when you were accepting the award for Play of the Year. Do you recall that night?
Yes, sir. It was a great night. Mugen Blue, Rashad Scott, and I, we won an award that night for Play of the Year. It's kind of crazy how fast time go by. It seemed like it was just yesterday when we were getting that award.
Tell me about it. Now, Scottie, you wouldn't believe it now. The gala has moved into the Rock Church. So as big as it was at the Midway, it's even bigger now, and it feels more like the Academy Awards. If you're in town on the 29th of November, let me know, and I'll make sure. It's only an hour long, and you'll be shocked at what it's turned into. It's a big deal now.
I love to attend. I'm pretty sure a lot of the athletes I know that's in high school right now will probably be receiving some awards this year and be up there. So I'd love to be there to support those guys.
All right, I'll send you an invitation, okay?
Thank you.
All right. You gonna send me one?
No, yeah. You're presenting.
Scottie, speaking of that, who do you got for winning silver pigskin this year? Who you predicting?
Man, are juniors allowed to win it?
Juniors they're allowed. It's happened twice.
We have a junior on board this year.
Reggie, well, we don't know that yet. It hasn't been announced, so you're presuming it is.
Wait, so oh wow, he didn't even make the fan vote, huh? Damn. All
right. Reggie won it in '99 or '98 as a junior, and then Tyler Buckner, the quarterback at Notre Dame, won it in 2017 as a junior, I believe. So it can happen, but it hasn't happened a lot.
I would say this is probably a three-way race right now, or really a two-way, because I think these guys separated themselves. Julian from Carlsbad and then probably Rod from Lincoln. Those two guys, they're playing phenomenal this year.
Mm-hmm. See that? What do you?
Well, obviously he's following the scene. So tell people what you're doing now, Scottie.
Right now I'm back in San Diego. I'm a sports performance trainer. I'm starting the 7-on-7 team this offseason. I go to a lot of high school games and youth games just because I work out with a lot of guys. I train guys when they were younger. And so now I'm just trying to give back the knowledge that I received and, a lot of the things I know that I learned throughout my time playing football and playing at the collegiate level. I'm trying to put it back into the community and the youth now. And so I'm training guys, athletes. I just had a session on Sunday with a group of DBs, trying to get that going every Sunday. I just train athletes now.
Scottie, I got a question for you because you're a perfect person for this. So you see a lot of high school kids that have this thing about redshirting. They don't want to redshirt. They want to play right away. You started as a freshman, a true freshman, so you're perfect for this in Pac-12. Don't you think it's better for most kids? Would you rather redshirted or been a true starter like you were as a freshman, developmentally wise? Not the first year coming out of high school with ego, but overall after 4 years.
I feel like I could have used a redshirt year at the beginning of my career, but my preparation for the way I trained coming out of high school, the way I did train during high school, and just my knowledge of the game, it propelled me to be able to take on a starting role early. I think everybody has to develop at some point, whether it's physically, mentally. Football isn't an easy sport where you could just jump to a different level and be prepared to play. I redshirted my fourth year of college when I went to West Virginia, and that helped me in ways that I never would have thought. Just physically, I got to get stronger, faster, get a little bit more mobile with my body, kind of work on some things that I never paid attention to before when I didn't redshirt. So, it can be an advantage. I had teammates who they redshirted, and now they have successful careers. I had my roommate. He was 200 pounds when he came in at Arizona. He was a defensive end. Now he's 260 pounds. So redshirting can help a lot. It just depends on where you're at mentally and physically.
Well, for a lot of people, the other part, I remember you. I remember you the most for being I think you were 4-time All-CIF academic team which was crazy. I mean,
Yes.
3 or 4 times, which was crazy. But it's the academic part too. I mean, that was easy for you, obviously. But kids come out and right away, it's just. I mean, I can't imagine it. 18, 19, and you're starting in the Pac-12, and all of a sudden you also have a college academic load and everything else.
That's definitely a big leap. You gotta learn. You have to learn how to manage time. Rich Rod told me when I first got to Arizona, like, don't think of yourself as a freshman. You got to be able to think as an upperclassman, meaning know how to manage your time, getting your academics done, showing up on time to meetings, getting extra work. And so once he told me that, I knew that, like, maybe I have an opportunity to compete. So I had no choice but to make sure I was on time, get my academics done. That was never an issue with me. Like high school, like you said, I was all CIF academic. So I made sure I took care of my grades, because you can't play football without the grades.
Absolutely. And, the reason why I wanted to have you on this podcast is because here you are, you are an exceptional high school and collegiate athlete, and I'm sure your aspirations were to even play on Sundays. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that dream
Yes, sir.
didn't happen. And no disrespect, because that's the case for most athletes. Only the 1% of the 1% ever get to see Sundays. Coming to that realization that, hey, my NFL dream is not going to happen, how difficult was that? How did you get past it?
It was hard. It was a rough couple months, honestly. I dealt with injury as well that people didn't know. I broke my leg my last game of my senior year, and that kind of set me back. For pro day, I did my pro day on a broke leg. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an invite to no camps or anything. I was upset. It was my lifelong dream to play in the NFL, but I realized that, like, that's not the end all be all. Life goes on. Eventually, you outlive football, and now my goals and aspirations is to give back to the youth. I can still be a part of the game just by coaching and training. I feel I get the same thrill from watching guys like Trey Edwards, Josh Carroll, Puka Noah. I helped Coach Clark back when I was a senior at one point, and those kids was in 6th grade, and now I see all of them excelling as seniors in high school. So now I get that same feeling, like, man, I helped those kids in their journey at one point in time.
So does Clark Moses come up in every podcast?
Yeah. We talk about the East Lake Panthers a lot in this podcast. Like, someone would think we have stock in the team.
Yeah.
But just along those lines, because I know you're into the personal training and putting your individual mark on athletes, do you envision could you see yourself ever joining the coaching ranks of a program, and maybe do your aspirations now lie in the coaching ranks?
Yes. I want to be the next Nick Saban one day, but at San Diego State, if I'm being honest with you. I want to put San Diego State at the peak of performance. I want to prove to the world that, San Diego State can be a top-tier program in this country, and I truly believe that with San Diego talent.
I agree with you. I have a question for you, because I'm fascinated by so much of your stuff, because I'm going to get to why you West Virginia and your first winner and everything else. But, you talk the pro thing. I mean, and you don't follow West Virginia. Probably went to Pitt, so I always followed West Virginia. I liked it there. You played spear there, which I don't think a lot of people know what that is. Like, how do you even go to, like, when pros come in, how do you?
Position?
Yeah. Well, it's
a monster linebacker or something?
It's a corner, a safety, a linebacker, or sometimes a DN. It's every single position, pretty much on defense in one person. So, talking about pros, when people come in, how do you get evaluated when you play spear? Because you're really not, you're everything.
Yeah, it was hard. A lot of teams asked me when I was doing pro day. I had a couple teams ask me, like, "What position do you play?" I just said, "I'm a football player." I played linebacker. I played safety. I played corner. I played nickel corner. I played every field safety, boundary safety. I played everywhere on the field throughout my 5 years of playing, and I never got. I was never able to adjust at one position, I should say. I was always moving around, bouncing around, and I feel like that's just a testament to me, though, and the way I worked and the knowledge of the game that I had, for me to be able to grasp every position and be a coach on the field and help other guys get lined up and knowing different roles and stuff. I always try to be as versatile as I can.
I can't help but notice you look like you could go out and play a game tomorrow. Did I jump the gun a little bit by saying the NFL dream is over? Is there still a part of
no,
you
it's over. It's
is.
over. I truly don't want to play anymore. Like I said, I have a passion of giving back to the youth. And so I'm starting a 7-on-7 team myself here in San Diego. I train athletes and I pour into them as much as I can. I try to mentor them. You know, I have a couple kids. I pop up at their schools and make sure they're doing okay with their academics, making sure they're staying on board, staying on track. I train them, I mentor them, I do whatever I can because I just want to see as many kids make it out. I know it's possible. I was in their shoes one day.
Sure.
So
sure. Well, that's very commendable.
We should have how come we don't have a PPR 7-on-7 team?
Yeah. All right. If we're going to form our own 7-on-7 team, Scottie, walk us through how difficult it is to get a 7-on-7 team going, especially in San Diego.
It's difficult because you got other programs out there that they're great programs. They have a lot of talent on their teams, and so it's kind of like a recruiting battle. But I'm new to it. I'm having a camp on December 10th, and so that's going to be like my tryout / workout. If you want to come and play for my team, I'm not sure how other programs do it, but I know there's other teams out here in San Diego all the way from Oceanside down here to South Bay. And they have great talent and great organizations as well.
How has 7-on-7 changed football?
It changed it in the sense of it allows players to get a year-round training program going to understand football, getting technical work. Everybody used to talk down on, oh, it's two-hand touch. It's not real football. You're not really learning nothing. But you learn how to play in different defensive schemes. You learn how to play a cover 2. You learn how to do mesh routes on offense. A quarterback is allowed to go through progressions in a quick manner. I remember when I started playing 7-on-7, Bryce Young was on our youngest team, and I think he was still in middle school. And now look how he's playing. He's the best quarterback in college football. JT Daniels played with us one year. He was still in 8th grade playing with varsity kids. So you can see guys learn quick and understand football at a quicker rate than, waiting until the season come around and just doing technical training once the season comes around.
Yeah, and you can even see it. I mean, we go out to the games, Friday we go out to each game. I mean, you can see the DBs that are in 7-on-7 that are training as opposed to the ones that aren't. I tell kids all the time, if you run a 4-3, it doesn't matter if you take 3 false steps or 3 wrong steps, all of a sudden you're a 4-9 guy. So they don't, but they think it's just straight ahead and I got time. And it's like, yeah, but on the field you're a 5-1 because you're taking all these bad steps. They
exactly.
don't get that.
When you get to college, the playing field evens out, and then it evens out even more once you get to the NFL. You have those rare occasions where, some guys are just supremely talented or supremely athletic, and, they can use that to their advantage. But everybody in college has something to them, whether they're super technical or they understand the game, they watch a lot of film, or some guys, just like I said, is just extremely athletic. But at some point, you have to have all three. And you can't just rely on your physical capabilities. You have to understand game. You have to have technique. Otherwise, you're going to get passed up.
Can I get this question out of the way?
Absolutely.
Because I'm just fascinated
Sure.
by this. San Diego, then Tucson. What happens when you land in Morgantown, West Virginia?
It's like
I'm not going to ask you for the first winter. I'm just going to ask you when you first saw the town.
It was a culture shock. I would say Morgantown is the same size as La Mesa. Not La Mesa's bigger.
It's way bigger.
La Mesa's bigger, and it's just a culture shock. It was just completely different. It was nothing I ever been in. But it had its beauties to it. The stadium, the mountains, just the football atmosphere. But I try not to get myself caught up in it because I knew I was there to play football at the end of the day.
What else would you do there besides play football?
This ain't Kansas anymore. What was that?
I didn't do anything. I went to workouts. I would probably be in the stadium some days 6 to 7.
Did you bring a winter jacket, or did that take you by surprise?
Hit me by surprise. I didn't even know it snowed in Morgantown, and I had one little jacket, and I thought I had to walk to practice, ride a bike to practice during the winter because I didn't have a car. And so I would have to go up and down a mountain. I didn't know it was mountains there. It was snowing. It was bad. It was a bad experience at first because I was just like, man, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But I pushed through it.
Let me follow it up. Knowing what you know about both schools, would you have gone to Morgantown straight away and been happier, do you think?
I would say I went to Morgantown just off of relationships. I had a coach that recruited me to Arizona. He was back there coaching.
So that was,
and
Is that Jamil?
Yes.
All right.
And I transferred during the COVID season, and we weren't allowed to take visits. So it was like everything I was hearing was over the phone. So it was just like I don't know. I had a couple schools I could have went to, but I ended up ultimately choosing the relationship with Coach Adai.
Wait, that's funny because when I got recruited, I took one of my official visits to West Virginia. They had Hostetler there, like number 8 in the country. And the same thing, we didn't have the internet, so I just scheduled a visit there. And I flew in the airport that's on the mountain. And I got there and it just all completely ended right that second. But you're right, if you don't, first time you see it, if it's too late.
But he had the internet. He could look at pictures. He could look at the weather
map. It doesn't
map.
do it justice till you fly in there.
It's deceiving. It can be deceiving at times.
Oh, Scottie, you're funny. Just speaking, because you guys were kind of, I'm going to send a link to you both. I thought I had a reasonable understanding of the X's and O's of football. You know, having been the host of the PPR for 24 years, you're around the game a lot. But I watched a clip of an NFL, either was a player or I believe an assistant coach, giving a 45 to a minute long chalk talk on the video screen of what was going on. It was like he was talking a different language. The jargon of the game has become more sophisticated.
Yeah, but everybody has their own language, but it means the same thing. You just know it in different terms.
But still, the level of, hey, if this guy does that, then you're doing this, and could you speak to the intellectual challenge of how the game has evolved to the point where even the days of, okay, the student body right play now no longer exists. Now, if they line up like this, we're going to do that, and everything is happening on recognition.
You have to be a quick thinker and a critical thinker at that. You know, I had a role where I had to call the strength of the defense, get certain people lined up. I had to know what a defensive linemen were rushing. We did a lot of stunts, and I had gaps I had to cover playing a spear position. So I had to know a lot. I had to know what everybody else was doing on top of knowing or trying to guess what the offense was going to do. You know, and the offenses, they don't make it no easier because now they run a lot of option routes. They're giving you a lot of formations. They're trying to throw a lot of things at you, do a lot of different motions. Like teams like Texas, they do a lot of motions and a lot of shifts just to mess your eyes up pre-snap, just to keep on doing the same play, like same 5 plays post-snap. So
it's all window dressing. Really it's the same 5 plays, but the window dressing in front of it makes it look vastly different.
Exactly. You can, like, Lincoln Riley does a great job of it. He's at USC. Steve Sarkisian, like, they'll send 2 tight ends in motion, or they'll do it with 2 receivers, and it'd be so many motions, but it'd be the same plays in different rotation. It'll mess your eyes up.
You've been gone for, let's just say, 2017. So 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Was it like, I mean, because coming back, I mean, it had to be like Back to the Future. I mean, you know, Steel Canyon's not having a good year. Granite beats Helix. Oceanside's 0-10. I mean, is that crazy to you that quick? Because when you left, those were, you know, top teams, and we're seeing a lot of that change. I mean, was it crazy to you come back and you might say, I'm gonna go watch Oceanside in the open playoffs, and then you find out they're 0-10, the coach resigns. I mean, it's just crazy here now.
Yeah, it was completely crazy. I was at the Helix game. I was actually at the Lincoln versus Madison game first. And then I ended up going to the Helix game, and I got there with 2 minutes left in the game. It was 24-24. And
is that your screen or our screen?
You got to learn on your phone.
You guys' screen.
That's us?
That's not me.
That's not you?
Hang on a second. You keep talking to him while I'm going to go get someone to take that off.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
I mean, the games you go to, it's just, I mean, it's different. I mean.
Yeah, I went to the game. It was 24-24 with 2 minutes left, and next thing you know, for the 4th overtime with 40-plus points on the board. And so it was crazy.
Can we take that alert screen, get that screen off?
Paul's talking over us now. He's messing things up.
Sorry, guys. Keep talking.
Let's talk more about West Virginia.
Okay.
Would you ever move back there, buy a house, move back to West Virginia?
Oh, no, I'm staying in San Diego for the rest of my life.
Dude, that's the crazy part. I grew up back there. I went there, and I came here, but when I got traded to the Eagles, I didn't realize it. I'm like, I am never leaving San Diego after that. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
I don't
Sorry about that.
never want to leave San Diego ever in my life again.
Yeah, that Morgantown will do that to you.
Well, I mean, if your goal is to coach at San Diego State someday, then you're right where you need to be. You just have to build your name recognition. So, Scottie, I come to you, and you're going to look. I'm already a fine physical specimen, but you're going to try to improve me.
For the pickleball championship.
Whenever I listen to DB coaches, they're always talking about hips and getting your hips. Why are hips so important in the play of a defensive back?
Because you have to be able to transition. You have to move swiftly. Receivers is running at you full speed, and they know where they're going. You don't. You're going backwards. You have to be able to change directions on a dime, be able to move on a dime. DB might cross your face. You got to be able to turn your hips quick, get your eyes across quick, and just be able to play in space. If you can't be no robot out there. Robots, they don't change directions. Good. If you look at a bodybuilder, you try to get on the field, he can't change direction quick because he's like too stiff in the hips.
So how do you train that? I mean, I was looking at some of your videos. What are some of the drills you like to do?
I wish I can pop them up on the screen, but I like to make sure the guys stretch a lot before, at least. That's the biggest thing, just being able to be mobile and stretching, having flexibility within your hips and growing area. But then we do a lot of hip swivels, backpedaling and open up and runs. I call it the box drill. I learned it in college, and I do it with some of my athletes now. And it's just change direction, flipping your hips, accelerating and decelerating. And that's the biggest thing. Because football is just completely changed direction. You can't run 10-9 every play. You can't run a straight line.
Yeah, people don't get that. They get too caught up in what that number is on the stopwatch or on the clock. It's not that. So I'm going to ask you right now, because you got a couple weeks, and you have to give me. I'm going to ask you a couple games here. Lincoln-Madison rematch. Who wins?
Lincoln-Madison rematch. I'm gonna go with Lincoln. I think Rod. He's a different animal. He reminds me of Nate Stinson, but bigger. I truly believe that he's just a game changer. Like I said, Rod, he reminds me of Nate Stinson, and Nate carried us to CIF my junior year. And I know when you have a player that dynamic, how much of a game changer he can be.
I have not heard that name. And where is he now? Where is Nate? Is he okay?
Oh yeah, Nate, he's doing really good. He's a businessman now.
Is he in town?
Yes, sir. You gotta get him on the podcast sometime.
Oh, with that, and when we get done here, tell him he's invited to the gala too if he wants to show up. He can be your date.
For sure.
All right, my next one.
I'd love to see him again.
Why are you always interrupting?
Oh, sorry.
All right, here's the next one. Poway is playing Carlsbad for the second Open Division game. Who you got in that one?
Carlsbad. I love Julian. Like I said, I follow him a lot, and I think he's probably the best player in the county.
Y'all are crazy. I don't know why everybody. Am I the only one picking Poway?
Or then let's tap into the guy who's into the scene.
But
yeah.
I would also say this: Zach Marshall is a great player, and so is Justin Johnson.
No, you're right. You're right.
And they have a great linebacker too. I can't pronounce his name. I believe he's number 7.
I know. I think he just committed. He just committed yesterday.
Forelli, or I can't remember his name right now.
Forelli.
We have that problem. Half the kids we don't bring up that we should because we're scared to pronounce their names. We only want to get into that, and it's like, all right.
All right, but being that your ear is a little closer to the ground than ours is, where's tomorrow Julian's going to commit? What school is going to come out of his mouth?
I don't know that answer, but if I had to guess, I would say Alabama. I can see him fitting in just like how Bryce Young went in. He probably go in there redshirt a year or just to learn the system and just be surrounded by great athletes. But you never know. LSU has Brian Kelly now. They have a great thing going on down there. He's doing a good job at recruiting. And then Georgia, they're the top of the top right now when it comes to recruiting. But I haven't seen any top-tier quarterbacks go there and have success.
I need to get my final. I'm not letting them off the hook. Okay. Your final, then, you got Carlsbad Lincoln. Who wins that game?
Whoever has the ball last. It's going to be tied, and whoever has the ball last.
Boy, you're a politician, too. God,
whoever has the ball last.
He sidestepped you without even a blink of an eye.
I'm picking Poway, so I lost all my
he's
credibility.
picking-
Nobody listens
He's
to me anymore.
just for the record, Scottie. He's picking LSU for saying, and he's picking Poway over Carlsbad. Just in case you wanted to know. Can we play a little game of make believe?
Now Thad's not going to let me do the halftime interview because
Yeah.
I picked Poway. Thanks, I appreciate that.
I don't think he likes you that much.
He doesn't, really doesn't know.
What if San Diego State were able to land an athlete like Julian Sayin or Roderick Robinson, if they could get him to stay close to home, could one athlete like that be the difference in stemming or in changing the trajectory of a school like that?
Yes. I truly believe so. You can go back to when we were getting recruited around my time coming out. But yeah, Julian and Rod, those guys can be like leaders of the class. I know when I was getting recruited, a lot of the guys that came in with me, we're like the leaders, and we help recruit other guys to come play with us, guys we have relationship with through the 7-on-7 circuit. So I think they can be like trailblazers. They can be leaders to change in San Diego. I know if you would have told me back in 2017 that, we're going to San Diego State, if they would have told me that we're bringing in C.J. Verdell, Samson New, Zeke Noah, Jordan Jim Markeith, just to name a few, and there's plenty other guys to go along that list before and after, I would have jumped all over it just because I had a relationship with those guys and it was at home, and we could have been great. I just think about the talent all the time that San Diego has, and man, it's ridiculous how much talent is here in the city, and that it's ridiculous the fact that they go other places and they go excel. And San Diego State is ranked every year. They're doing really good. They're a really good program, but at some point I would like to see them take that next step and become a top 10 program, top 5 program, like a Cincinnati, and with San Diego talent. It doesn't have to be complete all San Diego talent, but I know some guys from the city will be able to take them to that next level.
You would need to be able to compete with name, image, and licensing. You need Qualcomm to step up and.
Yeah, Snapdragon. You mean.
Or I was thinking Qualcomm the company, not Qualcomm
to keep
the
them
city.
in there. Yeah.
All right. So, listen, we promised we'd be done, and I've kept Scottie. I didn't know this was going to be such a fun chat, so I apologize for keeping you long. My last question to you: you have the forum. You're speaking to young athletes right now who want to hear words of encouragement. Could you give us your spiel?
Believe in the process. There's going to be a lot of naysayers. You got to be able to trust yourself, trust your mentors, trust your parents. Everybody isn't meant to be a part of your journey. You can use them to help you at some point as fuel, but you got to believe in yourself, believe in the process. Don't ever give up. Whatever you want to complete or get in this life, you can get it. Whatever your goals are, you got to stick to them and stick to your guns, and really hone in on them. Stay away from the distractions, because they're here today and gone tomorrow. And your goals, once you complete them, you just reset the bar, and it'll make you feel like you can accomplish anything. But number one thing, just stay focused, because you can do it. Don't never let nobody tell you can't.
Scottie Young, thank you for making time for us this podcast 68. I will send you an invitation, and let's stay in touch, because this was really a pleasure.
For sure, I appreciate it.
Oh, hey,
and I would like to send you an invitation to my camp, December 10th.
Fair enough.
Train?
I'll make sure. Well, I won't train, but I'll send
train.
I bet you'd rather have a camera there so people could see it in action, right? That's what
I like that. Both of you there. Honestly.
I'll go, but I want to see you train. You got to go through one drill.
All right, one drill.
All right, that's all.
Scottie, can you do me a favor and send me some pictures? Oh, by the way, PPR Podcast 68 is now over.